And welcome back to the baseline. We are now down to our final two teams here in the 2025 season. And guys, I think we're going to have a great World Series matchup. It's between the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Toronto Blue Jays. Yeah, think about that for a minute. Holy cow. Well, let's talk about it. Last time I talked to you guys, we talked about the Dodgers and how they swept the Milwaukee Brewers. So let's talk about the Blue Jays, who I honestly thought might have lost Game 7. Seattle was just hitting home runs, scoring a lot. And the Blue Jays, I mean, they have the most comeback wins for a reason. Springer hit the home run. Vlad Jr. was getting runners on. They had so many guys that were a big part of that comeback win. Hell, even the pitching did really well. Kevin Gausman came out of the bullpen. Chris Padgett came out of the bullpen for the Jays, and he actually pitched really well. I think it was like one inning. I don't think it gave up 0 runs, no hits. And then Hoffman came out to close it out, which you like to see, because I know he has been struggling here and there recent in the season. But he's been phenomenal for them so far this postseason. So the Jays are, overall, they're a great team. They've been doing really well. You know, they beat the Yankees. In 4 games, 4 games. Took Seattle to their limit, which still surprisingly is Seattle of their whole year of existence. Never played in the World Series. Well, gotta wait till next year. They got a good GM. But the Blue Jays are just, everything's working for them. The bullpen hasn't been as bad as it was in the regular season. The hitting 1 through 9 is dangerous. Especially if Vlad gets going, forget about it. If Vlad goes, this whole team goes. Gausman's been good. Yasevich is pitching Game 1 tonight. Hell, even Scherzer was, and I know he pitched 1 game against the Mariners, but even he pitched phenomenal in that 1 game in Seattle. But I think it was Game 4 when they won. He pitched really good. If you get Dash Scherzer for Game 4, the Dodgers might be screwed. Like I said, that bullpen is doing really well for the Jays as well. They're a good overall team. And oddly enough, I don't think the Dodgers are. It's going to be a challenge for the Dodgers. And the reason I say that is because look at the teams that they have faced. It's kind of like the New York Yankees of last year. Look at who the Yankees faced last year. You know, they faced Kansas City. Then they ended up facing Cleveland. And then they got to the World Series, and here are the Dodgers. And they got stopped right in their track. It was kind of an easy way into the World Series. And I kind of feel the same with the Dodgers this year. Because look at who they played. They were in the wild card. You know, they faced the Reds. Not that the Reds are a bad team, but their hitting wasn't as good. By the time they came back, the game was already over. Yes, they brought it back to like 5 runs, but you did 5 runs in the 8th inning, in the 9th, and then you're done. And then you look at Philly, and the Phillies' pitching wasn't really there. It wasn't, you know, like game 1. You had the lead, and then Teoscar Hernandez hits the home run, and then game 2, the same thing is you were up, and now or they were behind, and the Phillies bullpen really didn't work out. And then, well, game 3, the Phillies hitting went on a massive tear. And then game 4, back to where it was games 2 and 3. Or, well, 1 and 2, sorry. And then the series against the Milwaukee Brewers. The best team in baseball. The best record in baseball. Just didn't show up. You got swept. And in all 4 games, you scored 1 run. That whole series. And I think it was, and I mentioned in the last podcast, it was because they didn't have enough pitching. They didn't. They kept going to the bullpen. They kept doing a bullpen game. Why? I don't know. I can't tell you. But it wasn't a good choice. But then, here are the Blue Jays. Like I mentioned, Yasevich is pitching game 1. But Kevin Gausman's been really good for the Blue Jays. Shane Bieber has been phenomenal ever since he came to Toronto. And if you could get the Max Scherzer you got in the Seattle series, well, then you're great. You're fine. And then the bullpen is going to continue. If they continue the momentum that they have, they're all set. Here's the difference with the Dodgers and the Blue Jays. Everyone thinks that the Dodgers are all around a good team. Yes, the starting pitching, I think like the ERA's 1 something. But the hitting is not as good as we think this postseason. If I were to tell you, out of these 2 teams, who would you think as a team is hitting well over or almost 300, you would pick the Dodgers. The Dodgers are batting 256. The Blue Jays as a team is batting 296. That's insane. That's incredible for this Blue Jays team. They're scoring 6 runs per game. And oh, by the way, the Dodgers are starting off with 2 left-handed pitchers in Game 1 and Game 2 at Toronto's home ballpark, where they kill left-handed pitching. They have great numbers against left-handed pitchers. So, yeah, it's going to be a huge challenge for this Dodgers ball club all around. It's just going to be. And I think that's why, my opinion, I don't think the Dodgers are going to repeat. I like Toronto a little bit more than I do like the Dodgers. Especially since now the news came out yesterday. Don't really know exactly what the scenario is, but they lost Alex Vesia. Yes, his ERA is above 3, almost 4. But he's been one of the good pitchers you can rely on. And if I feel like Dave Roberts, had that whole system of, let me go Vesia, then I'll go Blake Triton, and then Sasaki to close it out. And it worked for him. Well, Vesia is now away from the team. We don't really know the whole scenario. I heard that maybe they'll work around it to have him actually be on the roster. I know they got Kershaw, but he pitched that one game against the Phillies and got lit up and hasn't pitched ever since. And could it work and he could come out and do this great performance? Yeah, look at Scherzer. He didn't pitch for a while and they pitched him in a game and he pitched great. But for some guys, it doesn't do that. And are the Dodgers willing to take that risk? Another option you could look at is, the rumor is that Scott will be back. Are you really going to have faith in Scott? Who blew 10 saves during the regular season? Are you willing to risk that? I wouldn't. I would not at all. Tanner Scott is not what he was with the Padres and the Marlins. He's just not. I wouldn't take that risk. I wouldn't want to take that risk. Especially since I have a shot to do something that hasn't been done in over 25 years. That's win back-to-back championships. You gotta learn how to play the cards right. And I don't know if the Dodgers will. Not saying that they're a bad team. It's just that bullpen is so bad right now. It's just I don't know where you go from here if you're the Dodgers. I really don't have an answer. I know the people think the Dodgers are going to win. I've seen Dodgers in 6. I think it's going to be Blue Jays in 6. Maybe 7. If we're lucky. Maybe Blue Jays in 7. But I like this team overall for the Blue Jays. The hitting does not mess up. They don't swing at bad pitches. You give them a pitch to hit, and the ball's gone. You give them a chance. They're going to play small ball. They're going to do everything they can to win. They haven't been to the World Series since 1993. The Joe Carter moment. And I think that's where we're kind of at. I think the underdog is going to win. I believe the Blue Jays have a legitimate shot. Like I said, I like their team overall than I like the Dodgers. So I'm going to say Toronto in 6. Well, that's going to do it for me on this one. Let me know your comments. Who do you think is going to win the World Series? Do you like the Dodgers? Do you like the Jays? Let me know. And I also want to thank everyone for the views and the subscribers. I really appreciate it. I love doing this, and I hope you guys do as well, or enjoying this as well as much as I am. And from that, I'm going to sign off, and I will see you all in the next one.